All right, hello everyone. Here we are, hole number 1 here of the expert guide. We're going to be, this is trial number 2. So if you guys didn't catch the first set of videos, make sure you check out the second set. This is going to be a POC sniper, a little bit more advanced bag. If you guys need earlier clubs, they're in the other guide. So do check out the other guide, much lower clubs than that. But what I'm going to do here, we're going to enter into the expert here. Jump right in. Take a look. So very similar strategy I'm going to apply here. Switch my bag, set it up correctly. Get this wind direction in ahead of time. Just make sure if you do set your wind direction ahead of time, you go and check mark that once you actually go. Otherwise, it's not going to... we did that as a safety precaution to make sure that guys aren't, getting that old value if they forget to use it or don't want to use it. We made sure that it resets, so you'll have to be a little bit careful. Now, using a Wind 5 option here is going to be a very good option. It's just going to require kind of a little bit different drive. But you can see that, getting it up there in good position with Wind 5 is going to increase your eagle likelihood. So let's take a look. As I mentioned, make sure that you go in, reset that wind. That's all you need to do to make sure that you get that arrow on. All you need to do is go in and check mark it. You don't even really technically have to check mark it. So anything, I'm probably going to stay just a shade under 4, and just try to figure out how much topspin I need. Somewhere up in here with some curl should be nice. I'm thinking 8-ish rings, somewhere right around here. Just a little bit of overpower, a little bit of curl to kind of straighten out the wind effect here. Perfect ball. Just trying to get it, aggressively up the fairway here. So anywhere towards the top is going to give us a very, very good chance. And very similar strategy to what you saw me do last time. Keep in mind that you'll probably need to do some kind of overplay. So I'm thinking somewhere in the neighborhood of 10% or so. Aside from that, it's going to be trying to figure out your ball guide, just positioning and where do you find yourself in the mid to max span. So that's always the first thing that you're going to want to do, because it's the only way you can use the slider. And what I'm going to recommend is probably somewhere around the neighborhood of 10 or 15% overplay. If you're using a Kingmaker, you can maybe get away with just a little bit less as wind gets smaller. So keep in mind, we're not playing elevation, we're playing overplay, which is typically what I do with short irons. I like to overplay them because it's much easier to point at the hole and play an overplay and try to get that dialed in the way that it needs to be. Now what I'll typically use is about full backspin on this shot. So let's take a look. First off, we need to just figure out where we are in the span. It looks like we might be at about maybe 30-40% club, so that's what I'm going to use. I'm going to use just a little bit of left spin just to kind of straighten out my ball guide. So you can see that, I'm trying to kind of bend it around the pin, so I need to make sure that I do that. And similarly here, as I mentioned, 30-40%, somewhere in here, 3.4 rings. Maybe just a tiny bit of offset here. Perfect ball. And not quite enough. So next time I might try 15%, because you can see, well, maybe even plus 20 with that strong of a wind. What was it? It was almost 8 there? No, it was 7.3. So maybe a 20% overplay there. Might be about perfect. So 3.7 rings, for instance. Now, that has to do primarily with wind effect. You can see that I get it right behind the hole. And, it just kind of deflects off towards the left. It's because of all that wind pushing it. But good luck with that hole, guys, and I will catch you guys on the next one coming up.